Got home early from work today. So we're gonna go say hi to the chickens really quick. Otherwise, we are making sorghum syrup tonight, and I gotta do it because we're gonna go out of town. So it shouldn't take too long, but I wanted to show you the process. We experimented with it this week. It went pretty good, and I want to show you how we do it. So let's go check it out. Hi, girls. Hold on, let's go in here. Hi, Fuzzle. Hi, Periwinkle. Hi, Meatball. Who's that? Hi, Bertha. Oh my goodness, let me in here. You know I've been seeing you guys after dark. Oh my goodness, this door. Hold on. Hi, babies. Hi, Marshmallow. Oh, you eat good today, girl. How you doing? Let's see what we got for eggs today. Oh my goodness. Oh, I have to go make the sorghum. Hey, Bertha. Oh, there she goes. All right. Missed you, girls. Oh, hello. Oh, somebody's in here. Who's up there? Everybody else. I know, it's up almost bedtime. I know. Got 3 eggs. Excuse my camera skills today. Goodness. I got all those chickens. Meatball, your feathers are coming back in. What's that? That's Periwinkle. There's Marshmallow. Marshmallow, I gotta give you a bath, lady. You're filthy. Why are you covered in dirt? Yeah. Alright. Good night, babies. Look at all those feet. Look at all them feet. Good job, Marshmallow. Okay. Hi. Yeah. Who's this? Hi. Okay, good night. See you later. Oh, chicken butts. All right, good night, girls. Good job, Marshmallow. Proud of you. We're back inside, so it's time to start working on these canes, and you can see quite long. So we did this one way earlier this week where we shredded them up, added some water and put it in. I had it recommended to do a different way where you just break these open and scoop out the insides. And honestly, it didn't really work for me. So I found a third way, which I'm gonna show you right now. I already got started on one cane, and all I did was cut the sections apart and split them down the middle and broke them up a little bit. And honestly, it's going a lot faster than it did the other day. So we're just gonna make our way through all of these. So you can see here, there's a little bit of husk left over. So I'm just gonna rip that off and get sections. And it honestly kind of looks like bamboo, which I thought was really interesting. So all I did, cut through here, and we have a section. Take your scissor, and it'll just split it right down the middle, and then I'm just gonna break it up so all of this stuff in the middle will be exposed once we add it to some water. And that's all I'm gonna do. And this works faster than chopping it up and shredding it. I don't have a juicer. If you had a juicer, that would absolutely work better. But that's pretty much it. Just going through, taking it, split it down a section, and exposing all that stuff in the middle. So all of this pith in here, it smells really nice, like a sweet grass, and actually tastes a little bit sweet. So let's get all this processed in the pot, and then we'll grab some water. We have just about everything done now. This took about an hour. It wasn't really working too fast. If you had 1 or 2 people helping you, I'm sure this would take like 20 minutes. Or if you had a juicer, I'm sure it would take like maybe like 15 minutes by yourself, but I don't have a juicer. And I don't have enough of this to make it make sense to buy like a giant press for outside. But now this is done. So I got it in my pot here. I'm gonna turn it on high. And we're gonna cover this with water. Once this comes to a boil, we're gonna let it simmer, like simmerish boil for about 20 to 30 minutes. You'll notice a distinct change in the color of the water. Some more. Go. You can push it down. And I'm actually gonna put a lid on this. So it'll heat up faster. As this starts cooking down, everything that's left over, the water level will submerge. And then after 30 minutes, we'll go ahead and strain this out, put the liquid back in here, and continue to boil it down. All that's left over here is just some, I guess, corn husk, or the equivalent of that. This actually be a pretty good fire starter. We're gonna go dump it in compost along with the grain cane waste in a little bit. So let me go take care of this, and then I'm gonna meet you at our table very quickly. While that's boiling, I wanted to show you an update from, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but we have our oregano oil. Check it out, really good color to it. It's gonna be ready to filter on Sunday, so I'm pretty hyped. It has a really, really cool color to it. It's not gonna pick up very well on camera, but I'll put a picture on Instagram when it's done, but it's almost done. We're just steeping it for 2 weeks. With the sorghum though, I had it suggested, you know, obviously invested a press. We've never grown sorghum before, and we're never gonna grow that much on this property, so that's out of the question. A juicer, I don't own a juicer. I think it's weird to remove fiber from like stuff you want to drink, like a smoothie, so I don't get it. So we don't own a juicer. There's also the option to take it and shred it, which is what we did. And I'll go grab it in a second, but we already made a batch of sorghum syrup. And then this way, I had somebody suggest, hi boo boo. I had somebody suggest to just cut the canes in half and scoop out the insides. And that's actually a bit more labor intensive than what I just did. Like I said, it took me an hour to process, and that was everything that grew in a 3x6 raised bed. I didn't count how many canes there were, but it would have gone faster if I had another set of hands. Like you gonna help me process food? No? Just burn. Anyways, so now it's gonna boil for about 20-30 minutes, and then once we separate it, if you remember when we made the maple syrup, how long it takes to boil that down into a syrup, this is much, much faster because most of what we're boiling off is water. Water boils off at a lower temperature than the syrup is that you want to get at the end. So I actually did this on a weeknight, I think last week. It might have been earlier this week, honestly, I don't remember. And I think I like shredded everything up, got it on the stove at like 7, and it finished boiling around 11. And that's between boiling it for like 20-30 minutes, filtering it, putting it back on the stove to finish boiling off. So that's not that bad, because if it was maple syrup and you're using a stove, which first of all, maple syrup is a whole different process. We actually have a couple videos making maple syrup, which I can put in the description for you. We just do it the not proper equipment way because we don't have that. But maple syrup is like all day, like tens of hours. Now the boil down ratio is pretty similar. I think it's like 10 or 15 gallons, maybe even more than that, of maple sap from the trees when you tap them. I'll get you like a gallon of syrup. This I think is similar, but we probably had maybe like a gallon or less than a gallon of water with our steeped sorghum canes. We got about half a cup. So it's not as much, but I want to have it on hand to use like molasses, like if we want to make brown sugar, if we need it for specific recipes. We actually have the sorghum harvested too, so I want to use that like a grain. So let me go grab actually those two things. I'll be right back, I'll show you them, and then once I get everything like filtered and transferred over, I'll show you what the actual like sorghum liquid looks like. As you can see, it's very, very thick, and it's got a great color to it. I did taste it. It tastes great. I had it just above temperature for barely 30 seconds. Otherwise it would have been a little less thick than it is now. But that's pretty easy. You can just warm it up and it'll melt. You're gonna, when we get the liquid going, you wanna get it to 226 degrees and then immediately cut the heat. Otherwise you'll end up with more like a sorghum candy. But it's pretty good, honestly. I'm really happy to have it on hand. It's nice because once it's done cooking down, you don't have to filter it again like you do, like you have to do with maple syrup. So this is just shelf stable. So I don't think the batch I'm doing right now, I don't know if I'll add it, just like add it into here or not. I'll see how it comes out. I guess that would make sense and just put it together or give it its own jar. But this is awesome. And for the canes not even being that big, I got no complaints. I'm barely gonna use this anyways, so it's pretty cool to have on hand. Will I make it again next year? Probably, if we grow sorghum again. I'd say it took me 15 minutes to harvest everything, and then between each time, so it's like 2 hours of processing, and the rest of it's just boiling it. Maybe an extra 5 minutes of actual labor. So, I don't know, I'd say maybe 3 hours of actual work into it, and that's including the maybe 20 minutes it took to plant everything. Not too bad. I got no complaints. When it starts getting closer to temperature though, you gotta be checking on it. Once you get to like the 210s, it starts heating up really, really fast. So just keep an eye on that, because if you get over 226, even to like 228, I had this at like 228 for like 30 seconds and look how thick it is. So just be mindful, but it tastes super good. So definitely recommend. By the way, when I say it's really good, imagine like a shortbread cookie or like a traditional style like gingerbread cookie with, you know, that you use molasses for. It just has a very traditional flavor, I feel like, which is not for everyone. I think it tastes really good, so I'm excited for it, but definitely not for everyone. They sell sorghum syrup in the store if you want to try it, but if you want to process it and make your own, you're probably not gonna get that much. like if you have a whole field of sorghum and you're gonna use a press to get the juice out, and then you got like your maple syrup vats to boil it off, you could definitely do that like in a weekend, or smaller batch, do it on a weeknight like I am, so it's up to you. Ooh, that's Stevie. Get back in there. So this has been boiling for about 20 minutes. I'll let it go for a little longer. Probably should have turned on the heat. That's alright though. So of course you're gonna get more of, I'm gonna call it sugar, I don't remember what the actual type of molecule it is, out of these canes. If you press them, we're gonna make do. The water hasn't changed color too much, so I'm just gonna let it go for a little longer. But again, this is a different way that I did it, I think earlier this week. So I just turned on the water, keep it on a simmer, let it go for about 10 more minutes, and we will filter it out. There's our liquid. I can already tell from just splitting these in half, instead of shredding them, the liquid is already a bit lighter than when I did this the other time. So I'm not sure how much we're gonna get out of it. We're gonna, it's 8:44. I'm gonna let it go as long as I can. If I can't finish it, I'm just gonna let it cool down, put it in the fridge, and we'll finish it another day. That'll be fine. I mean, you can do the same thing if you're making maple syrup and you can't finish it at once. You could either leave it out, pick it up the next day, or let it cool down, put it in your fridge, do it a couple days later. That's fine. So let's let this boil down, do its thing. It's already very hot. It was just boiling like 2 minutes ago. I just filtered everything out. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm gonna let it go for at least maybe 2 or 3 hours and just see where we're at. And then this is what we're left with. You can see it's changed color. The pulp in here is still there. I'm sure it could be more you could take out of this. When I did the other day, I put everything in a tea cloth and I tried to like squeeze and press as much extra liquid as I could out of them. But this is just, you know, an experimental batch, so definitely it's not going to be as efficient as if you're doing it on a grand scale, but this is good enough for us. If you wanted to, you could take these spent canes, and once they're cooled down, if you had some animals, say like goats, I think people give it to cows, you can definitely give it to them as fodder. That's fine. We just have chickens and they got plenty of treats, so we're just gonna put it in compost. But I think it's pretty cool. You know, the sorghum, you just plant it, you let it do its thing all year. We didn't have to do anything to it except water it. And then this is like, I'm not even including boiling time because honestly, boiling isn't work. I'm just gonna leave it there. I got other things I'm gonna do. It's really 3 hours of like actual like manpower into this. That's fine. That's a decent trade-off. We get some grain, which is drying. Whenever it's done drying, we're gonna give it, it's probably been about a week. I'm gonna give it at least another week to keep drying before I take it off the actual stalk and winnow it, do all that good stuff, and actually try it. Like our sorghum last year, I'm gonna try cooking it like you do with rice and see how it goes. And if that doesn't work, that's fine. I'm gonna put it in the freezer and then we can use it and mill it for flour because I got a grain mill now. So yeah, things are going pretty good. So I will see you again once this boils down, and we're gonna pull out our thermometer at that time. Hi. I thought while we waited for that to boil, it'd be nice to go over a couple things. And I have cat hair on my face. Oh my goodness. You're in the basement all day hunting mice. And the one time I sit down, you're like, hello, hi. This is a really good, high quality cat. Here. I mean, look at this cat. That's a high quality cat right there. Go ahead. anyway, so you're just gonna have to deal with her all up in the business. Oh my goodness. So what are you doing? I thought it'd be nice to just go through. So around this time last year, or I think maybe even in January, I actually did a bunch of polls on social media to get an idea of, you know, what were people interested in. And I'm kind of shot myself in the foot this year because we've been doing a lot of traveling. We had renovations going on. So I honestly haven't had the time I wanted to devote to kind of expanding, there's more cat hair, expanding the channel, keeping up with social media. It's a lot. And I actually had a colleague of mine turn me on to something that'll like cross post on different things. Oh my goodness, you're so needy. So we're gonna look into that and started working on my book a little bit more. I got the first part of it pretty done. The whole thing's mapped out. And I started this last winter. So you can see how much time I don't really have during the actual growing season. And given, you know, our property is not that big, but there's a lot of different things that we grow. And we have chickens, and it takes a lot of different types of knowledge, skill sets, all that good stuff. We also, you know, made a new chicken coop, new chicken run. It's been a lot. And we lost our chickens, we got new chickens, and we're trying to socialize with them because they're not used to people. They're not, like, they don't fight us or anything, and they're not mean. Oh, thank you for sitting down. But, you know, they're definitely still kind of skittish, but it's getting better every day. They ate out of my hand the other day, so that was cool. But, you know, around this time last year, I did take some polls, so I just wanted to go through it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Oh, I'm such a good girl. I'd show you this, but I only got one camera. There's just a little cat here. So I'll just go through it. I think I actually spent a full video on it, but I just wanted to review because it's been a little while. So we did a poll of like, why do people even watch this? And a lot of it was a combination between entertainment and education. And I know with these types of videos myself, like I watch them that other people do on their homesteads. I love watching bushcraft stuff and cooking. Don't say on my book. Cooking videos. Thank you. And all that stuff. So I get it. People have access to things and do different stuff that you might not have, so of course you're gonna watch it. What do people want to see more of? Real-time garden help. We're working on that. I'd really love to do that starting in the early, like late winter, early spring. Trying to figure out how to structure it. Because I've done like consulting and like appointment-based work before, but I don't know if I need to make my own like contract for that, so I gotta figure that out. Someone wanted a monthly newsletter and a website with blogs. The website's coming. I'm almost done. My kind of self-restriction with getting the website done is I wanted to finish backlogging everything to Pinterest. We have a Pinterest account, and I'm almost done. It's just super tedious, which is why I'm looking into like a cross-posting thing. But I'm working on the books, that's coming. No one really wanted an educational course. I don't blame you, there's a ton of them out there. Would it be nice if I like just put it out there and people could buy stuff? Yeah, that'd be really cool. Here's the thing, this is a free YouTube channel. If you do want to donate to us, that's great. Goes right into chicken food, cat food, all that good stuff. But I really think education could be free, and I say that as somebody with a lot of student debt. Let's see here. People wanted to see more of the plants, relationship stuff, food preservation, cooking, and planning. Yes, planning is a big one. So I hope I've hit on some of those this year. I've been really trying to show you more of that food preservation. We do have one video where we were preserving meat earlier this year. It looks like it did pretty well. I just haven't honestly, we haven't really even been shopping that much. And we got a new freezer, so we froze all our meat. And I still have my canned meat that I gotta finish. We've been using it slowly. I think I have like 1 jar left, I think, of the stew meat. But we're working on it. So I guess you could count this as a preservation video since we're processing all the sorghum canes and we're gonna get sorghum syrup, which is never gonna go bad. What's most useful to you? People said more videos. Some of the other options were a podcast, a book, or other social media. Just for the record, social media and a book was 0% on all those votes. People just wanted more videos, so we're doing that. Still working on the short form. I just don't have time to shoot that stuff. You know, let me put it in perspective. So I have a job. I work 40 hours a week. It's a good job. I like it. It's different from what I was doing a couple years ago when I started the channel, and it helps fund all these fun things we've been doing this year, which is great. Eventually I want to transition where I don't need that job anymore. But actually, like, working in our property, taking care of general life stuff, for me to make time to shoot like a bunch of videos back to back, see how they do, post them out there, edit them. That's a whole thing. At a minimum, I want to get these channel videos in. Most people wanted to see 5-minute videos. Y'all are still getting 30-minute videos. I try to stuff it in there. I did want to start a series, like a 5-minute like cooking series. So that is something I want to do. I need to plan it out though. And a lot of the cooking I do, I don't think to record it. I just kind of do it. Like I spent the other night, I got home from work and I nixtamalized a bunch of our corn and I used my new grain mill, made some tortillas, we had tacos, it was great. Could I have videotaped that? Yes. Do you know how much more time that adds to the actual like dinner making process? It adds some time, especially if you want good video. So let's see here. So I'm already at 8 minutes of talking, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's see. If you don't have a YouTube account and you're watching this, please go get one, subscribe and like. I'm just gonna say that. I say that as someone who watched a ton of YouTube accounts and followed them for like years before I even made a YouTube account. But that's just me being a YouTube creator. Let's see. I will say, I do agree with some people. What do you like about gardening? Figuring it out and harvesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Although I don't like harvesting as much. It's nice to have it, but sometimes when you do all the work to like get something, I don't know why, it just, you think of that when you go to use something. And it's not that I want to save things for like special occasions, but I think that at this point, I live in New England, I'm in Western Massachusetts, American. We have a convenience culture, instant gratification culture. You know, sometimes it's nice to like go out to dinner and you don't have to put any of the effort into your food, you just get to enjoy it. When you put the effort into your food, yes, you can enjoy it, but I don't know. There's just something in there, it just makes you think about it a little bit more, and you want to put it to good use, I guess, and not, I guess, be as flippant about it as if you just like grab something from a store shelf. So think about how your food's made. It's important. Let's see. What do you want to learn? How life things plays into running a homestead. I can make a whole video about that. Maybe I'll do that for our next video. We'll see how it does. We don't really have any plants going right now, and I probably need to water all of my trees I brought in. I'm just not doing well with those right now. All right. And people want on-trend reels. Listen, I am not going to lip sync or dance. It's not happening. At least not for this account. Let's see. And there's a lot of other stuff here. So everyone who did participate in all the polls and stuff I did last year, I do appreciate you. I actually went through, wrote everything down. And I've had this for like a year, and I look at it every now and then. But it's really helpful for me. Let's see what else here. Yeah, a lot of people are really interested in like lifestyle stuff. If I ever figure out how to put music over here, that's not gonna get like flagged for like theft or something, I will do that. I am not the most skilled editor though. All right, and then most people go online in the morning or night. Well, I'm shooting this at night, so if you're seeing this in the morning or at night, what's up? Hello. All right. So I think as the winter progresses, I'll be, and I've said this before, doing some more cooking videos. Now that we're gonna have the sorghum syrup, I wanna use it. I wanna make some cookies, I wanna make some bread. The trouble is, I haven't done as much cooking because there's just 2 of us, and I don't have family that lives nearby, and I don't see my friends as frequently as it would make sense to make like a bunch of food and share it. So a lot of stuff just ends up going in the freezer or in the cabinet until we get to it. But we have all these canned goodies and I want to use them. So we'll be doing some like micro meals moving forward. And if you are at home and you have a big family and you're doing all this food preservation, listen, good for you. Please use it. Show, you know, your kids how to do all of this stuff. I think that's great. For us, we have to be a little bit more, I guess, careful how much we make, because then we'll end up with a freezer full of chilies and all these good things that won't get to in like 6 months. So things are coming. I'm done talking about that. I am now at almost 13 minutes. So I can definitely be a chatterbox. So yeah, we're gonna work on some things. I can say realistically in the future, my goal is to get the website going by New Year's. I would like to do a calendar. I have some really cool shots on and off Instagram. I think would make a pretty good calendar. We'll see about that though. And then we'll finish my book. So that's what's on the way. We'll keep making videos. I know we're not the biggest channel, but everyone who just watched this, I do appreciate you. So I'm gonna stop now, and I will see you as soon as the syrup is ready to go. As this boils down, you're gonna see this, I guess, foam on the top. And this is pretty similar to what you see when you do maple syrup. You see all that? Those are impurities that you want to scoop out and get rid of. You don't want that in your final product. So every now and then, if you come in and just scoop that up, get rid of it, you'll end up with a better product at the end. I came to check on how this is going. It's been about 2.5 hours, or actually rather 2 hours. And you can see the liquid level has dropped, so I wanted to check the temperature. See where we're at. Looks like we're about 212, 213. We want to get to 226. So now that we're in the teens, this is actually going to go pretty quickly. And I expect this to drop down a bit more, but we're very likely going to have this done in the next hour or so. So I'm going to be checking it about every 10 minutes from here on out. And when it's done, we get to put it in a jar. We'll call it a night. Making this is very easy and definitely less time consuming than maple syrup, that's for sure. We're getting really close to it being done. I just checked the temperature again. And it's at 118. So we're very close, and it's gonna pick up very soon. Once you see this more intense bubbling, you know you're getting to the end. Alright, not even 2 minutes later, and checking the temperature here. Weird there. Heat a little bit too high, so we're gonna cut the heat. And we're gonna transfer it to our jar, which I did warm up, so we're not gonna crack glass, but we're gonna take this off now. it's hard to see, but our first level ended, oh goodness, I don't even know, but we got about twice the amount we started with. So 3 hours of active labor plus some passive boiling. It's 11:30 right now. And I think we started, it actually was boiling at like 8:30. So, you know, 3 hours boiling, 6 hours total. Not so bad. We got about a cup, maybe a little over a cup of syrup. It looks great. So we're gonna let it cool down overnight. All of this extra stuff here will eventually make its way down there. And then we have some left in here, but it's kind of like oh goodness. What's left in there is like really sticky, kind of like a caramel, so that's not coming out. As you can see, it gets to temperature pretty quickly. So you can leave it, but then once you start noticing it's in the teens, you gotta pay attention because it moves fast. It looks great. That's gonna stay shelf stable for a long time. Thanks for joining me tonight while I made some more sorghum syrup. Now that I've done both methods, one method you can see on our Instagram, and the second one I'm showing you today. I think the one where I actually shredded everything in the blender and then put water over it and boiled it, I think that had a bigger yield than just splitting them and crushing them. I have off camera in my sink a pile of the spent canes and some with the pulp still inside. And if you chew it kind of like you do on a sugar cane, it still tastes a bit sweet. So I think there was, you know, some of those sugars that were not extracted. I'm sure there's a way to make it more efficient, but I think if we were to do this again, I'd either shred them or just suck it up and invest in a juicer and see how far we can get. But it's good to have on hand. It's not really something we're going to use a lot, but it's a pretty neat project, you know, from start to finish. I was really only expecting, you know, the grains, maybe one that's a little bit more developed, here you go, and to also get another sugar source from the canes, I think is pretty cool. Definitely really cool. So we'll see you next time with some other videos. Maybe we'll approach some different topics or just go straight into some cooking. But otherwise, I'm gonna go to bed. So whether this is day or night you're watching this, I hope you stay well, and we'll see you next time.